Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today let's go over a Leetcode medium question that I just solved on my own. So I'm really happy about this. I wasn't expecting to solve it on my own, but it took a couple tries, but again I was able to do it without any assistance, so I'm really proud of that. And I looked at the discuss section after this, and people were complaining about the description. I don't think it's really that bad as long as you simulate the instructions correctly. Like, there's no time limit exceeded that I got. So again, that's probably part of the reason I was able to solve this question on my own. But regardless, let me go ahead and show you how I did it. And again, I just don't think it's really as bad as people were making it out to be. So you're basically given two strings, S and T, and you just want to return an integer denoting how much it costs to shift A to T. So obviously, if there's any mismatch, we want to turn A and S into T, right? So if there's any mismatch, then for example, A and B, we would either shift all the way to the right, wrapping around to get B, or we would go all the way to the left to get to B, right? So that's basically the essence of it. And then you would take the minimum of the right path and the left path. Pretty straightforward. If you want to shift to the next letter, then it's just going to be next cost of whatever that index is. If you want to shift to the previous letter, then it's just previous cost of whatever that index is. So very straightforward, I think. And you just want to return that integer at the end. So let's go ahead and declare that. And again, let's just go over S. If S of I is not equal to T of I, then we have some work to do, right? So in that case, let's print S of I and T of I. So, okay, so that just means A and B, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. All of them are incorrect, so we need to figure out how to make A into B, how to make B into A, how to make A into B, how to make B into A. So to do that, let's try to compute two ways to do it, which is the right shift, right? And then the left shift, because if we're on A right now, we can get to B by going all the way back here to where the index of B is in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, X, Y, Z. And then we can also just say, okay, just shift right by 1. That's going to give you just 100. So it's not 0 because we're from A to B is costing us 100 to shift right. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get all the letters in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do this, but again, this was my own solution. So cool. So now how do we shift to the right? Well, we want to find the position of where we're at. So S index is going to be letters.index S of I, and then our target index is going to be letters.index T of I. So let's print S index and T index. Okay, so 0 and 1, we want to get either from to 25, 24, 23, all the way back to 1, or just directly from 0 to 1. So let's do this, call this right shift, and we're going to take the minimum of the right path and the left path. So it's pretty straightforward. Now you just have to say while S index is not equal to T index, then we have to shift it to the right, right? Plus equals to 1. And then now you just have to care about the edge cases, because if we're going to go out of bounds, right? So if we're going to go out of bounds and then all the way around, if it equals to, if S index plus 1 is equal to length of next cost, or the easier way is just to mod it by 26, because we have 26 letters in the alphabet, right? So that's the length of this. These are all 26 because they represent A to Z. And then now we have to add, because we're shifting right, next cost of S index, right? Let's print RS just to see. Cool. So 100 for this one, because it costs 100 to shift this way, and then the left sum is going to be the same thing except backwards. Let's go ahead and declare this again the same way. While S index is not equal to T index, then we're just going to say left sum plus equals to previous cost of s index, and then s index minus equal to 1. And now let's say we get to, so index 0, index -1, we actually want that to be 25. So if s index is less than 0, then it's just going to be, for example, it's -1, we want it to be at index 25, so it's 26, the length minus absolute value of s index. So let's run this. Okay, cool. So let's print rs and ls. Let's see, get rid of this. Okay, cool. And then we just can take the minimum. So 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0, right? 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0. And return that as our answer. Answer plus equals to minimum of rs and ls, whichever one is smaller. For 1, in this case, we add it to the result. And then at the end, once we're done scanning through s from left to right, looping through s one time, then we just return that answer because it's going to become t, right? We took care of all the mismatches. So let's run this and submit it. Okay, get rid of this. Oh, okay, get rid of this. And there you go, passes all test cases. So again, I'm really happy that I was able to solve this one on my own without any assistance. Get rid of this. Although it's not the most efficient, I'm sure there's a better way to do this. You could, instead of doing .index, which is like n, you could get a dictionary and put like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like A is 0, B is 1, etc., and then get the index in O of 1, but this works fine, and I'm just going to leave it as I originally did. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.